Yes, it's April Fool's, but I'm not here to fool anybody because I think this is really important information. Howie Roseman down in Florida, head coaches meeting. The GMs are meeting up on obviously bashing, turning things over with specific rules in the NFL. Howie Roseman finally opened up about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and the trade that happened, Dallas Goedert, and a lot more. We have to talk about it because this is going to get interesting, and I think it's still going to start to turn some Eagle fans around a little bit that were really unhappy about the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade. So, and we have some new rules that might be changing as well. So we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff going forward. So let's talk about it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? The Horror Center having a fantastic day today. This video is sponsored by BetUS, so definitely go check them out if you guys have not. So yeah, we have the meetings in Florida. I think this is going to be really important because I feel like we're going to find out where the Eagle fans are at mentally after what Howie Roseman did say. It might be a lot of something, it might be a lot of nothing, but at least we're getting something here. Howie's not going to tell us who he's drafting or anything like that. So if you're here for that, don't think that's going to happen. But I think this is really important. So Howie Roseman had some press conferences, had some interviews, and we're going to find out a lot more down the road, especially when the draft coming up, on if these are smoke screens or these actually true. We're going to see. Okay. Now, Howie Roseman did talk about Dallas Goedert, the Dallas Goedert situation, okay, on the future of Dallas Goedert. So Howie Roseman says there's no update. Obviously, Dallas has been a tremendous player in person for us. The opportunities that we have got into free agency with tight ends Harrison Bryant and Kylen Granson were just opportunities we felt were good for our football team. I know certainly that Dallas is a unique player, so really that kind of where we're standing, okay? This is where things are getting raunchy now because Dallas Goedert is told, hey, go out and find a trade partner, okay? And then the Eagles not only bring in one tight end, two tight ends, three tight ends, four tight ends, two off-season contracts, and two guys that potentially could get playing time this year. I like Harrison Bryant. He's a situational type tight end. He's got some speed to him. I mean, I like him. And Kylen Granson, statistics aren't really popping out too much, but the Colts haven't really had a common quarterback that's been in the building that's been really good to give him his statistics. But Kylen Granson, I think, was a very underrated move by the Eagles, and he is already better than Grant Calcaterra. And if Dallas Goedert's not here, Kylen Granson is going to be your number one tight end. Okay. Now, Dallas Goedert has no more guaranteed money on his deal. He's 30 years old. He's a free agent after this year. And they're trying to trade him. I would be shocked if the Eagles can get a fourth-round pick for him, whether it's this year, in 25, 26. They just want to pick, okay? If this happens before the draft, then yeah, I think tight end is going to become a glaring hole as well as safety. It's almost as becoming important as safety is. Okay. Teams are wearisome of trading for Dallas Goedert because he's missing 5 to 8 games this season. So I get that. But when Dallas Goedert is healthy, he produces. Thank God the Eagles had him for the playoff run. I don't know what we'd do without him, to be honest with you. It takes everybody, but Dallas Goedert had made some big plays in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. So I don't know where, Howie Roseman gave us the most, PR answer that we could get out of this Dallas Goedert situation. But if I was to guess, I feel like he's gone. And I don't want to say that because realistically, if they could just redo his 1-year deal right now and just keep him on for this year, great. And then maybe draft a guy in this. I don't know. It's hard for me because now you signed 4 other guys, 2 guys that are really going to compete, plus Calcaterra. So the draft is really gonna tell us a lot, the story of this tight end position. If they don't even draft a tight end, okay, they might re-sign Dallas Goedert after the draft. Howie Roseman might say, hey, I probably told Goedert, like, look for a trade. If nothing facilitates, we'll bring you back, blah, blah, blah. We'll see what happens. But the way they've been moving with this tight end position lately, since the offseason started, it's looking like Dallas Goedert is out the door. And I'm guessing he just wants bigger compensation because Dallas Goedert can go to another team right now and produce immediately. Okay. So that was the news on Dallas Goedert. Nothing promising. Didn't tell us a damn thing whatsoever, but at least it's something right now. So that's the news on Dallas Goedert. I mean, we even had like stupid rumors of Dallas Goedert going to the Chiefs. Like, come on, like that makes absolutely no sense. I think people just want the clicks at this point. That's definitely not happening. Okay. Let me tell you something. The last team the Eagles are going to trade with is the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll tell you that right now. But, and it's weird because Dallas, this is a pure example of when, it sounds like Howie Roseman's happy about Dallas Goedert. They still think she's a great player. But this is almost the same thing with Hassan Reddick. Like last offseason, Howie was like, love having Hassan on this team. And, we didn't think he was going to go anywhere last offseason. And then, obviously, he ended up getting traded, but it's a different situation because he was holding out for more money. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Dallas Goedert wants more guaranteed money. Maybe he's like, I want top dollar for my last year. I don't know. I could be wrong. But, the situations are different between those two players. But this was giving me these Hassan Reddick vibes. A little bit. So it's been kind of crazy. Now I want to get into the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson talk. Okay. Howie Roseman has opened up about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And yeah, I'm going to read this whole thing and kind of just pause a few times and kind of go through it a little bit. So Howie Roseman on trade Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Okay. I think if you're just taking the CJ move in a vacuum, it's kind of not giving the whole perspective of where we're at. And it doesn't, because you're getting rid of literally the attitude that walks on two legs for this defense. Okay. And the 2 years he's been here, the Eagles were in Super Bowls. And like I said, that doesn't mean much, okay? Like, it's the whole team. It's not one guy. I get that. But, Howie Roseman told us there's going to be some things we see in this offseason that we're probably not going to agree with, okay? Back at the Combine. When you're trying to compete for another Super Bowl, you don't get rid of a player like that. And Howie Roseman understands that that's what he pretty much did. But there's a reason behind it, though. He says, I think Chauncey did a great job for us in both the years that he was with us, obviously making the Super Bowl twice in 2 years with him as our starting safety. True. Really, when you look at our team and you look at the kind of amount of highly paid players who earn their contracts, we got 8 guys who are making 15 plus million or more. Okay, we have from the 2022 to the 2024 drafts, we have 8 starters who are on the Super Bowl team. None of those guys having long-term contracts. And those drafts probably having 5 or 6 players that will be competing for starting jobs. He says, you have a lot of players coming through that aren't under long-term contracts, plus a lot of guys who are on long-term contracts, and we never want to be in a situation where we have 1 year where we're getting rid of 20 guys. Okay, and that's the truth. He wants this youth turnover. If Fangio says, nah, get rid of Chauncey, I like Sidney Brown, get rid of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, it's not worth to keep him on that cap hit, save some money, I see something in this other guy, or they see something in something else they're going to do behind the scenes that they're not telling us. Okay, there's reasons for this stuff, okay? Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, you're going to save $6 million in 2026. You're going to save $13.8 million in 2027. So you're getting big chunks of cap space. But why do you think that's the reason? The reason for that is because they don't think that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was a part of their future plans. They have too many guys that are making $15 plus million a year. And guys, Eagle fans are not used to drafting this well the last few years. And when you hit on 1 draft pick, 2 draft picks, 3 draft picks in 1 draft, let me tell you something. That's great. We have to put trust in our coaches. Every fan wants the big signing and this. We didn't need a big signing this year. We never needed a big signing. We literally went into March after the Super Bowl and said to ourselves, I said to myself, our free agency is trying to re-sign some of our own and bring in some depth, and we are going to rely on this draft for youth turnover. Quinyon Mitchell going to his second year, DeJean going to his second year. But when you think about it, you have to save money down the road as well. This is an opportunity, and trust me, I kind of question, hey, like, why didn't they just keep Chauncey for one more year and just do this next year, instead of just letting him go? But there are reasons for that. Okay. They want younger guys to compete for that role. So having a veteran that's in there is going to stop them from really competing, and those guys are going to take a back seat. If Fangio says, this guy's on our roster's ready, let's let him compete in the offseason program and take that spot. Or Fangio is saying, I really like Malachi Starks in this draft. Like, we got to move up. We got to go get him. You know, so there are, like I said, there are reasons behind all this, but guys, like, we need to start, we're not going into free agency, and if you have to sign this one and sign that one and sign this one and sign multiple guys to big money. What happened after this 2017 Super Bowl? The Eagles brought back every single player the next 2 years, and guess what happened? Bad draft after bad draft after bad draft. The Eagles were restructuring, kicking the can down the road, bigger cap hits later, and the Eagles were literally over, by 2019, 2020, they were over $73 million over the cap, which means you have to restructure and get under $1 million over the cap just to get under the cap where you're not overcompensating and you can actually sign guys. That's not the position you want to be in, and the Eagles have already been in this situation, okay? And I agree with Howie Roseman. He doesn't want to end up paying multiple guys in one season. The more you draft well, okay? He doesn't want to be in a situation where you're getting rid of, like I said, you're getting rid of 20 guys in one offseason. That's not good. That's not good. You got to be better with the contracts, and you have to draft well, and you have to produce these players well. The coaching staff is going to be a lot on this coaching staff going forward, especially Vic Fangio. And I think we have Vic Fangio's. I think we trust Vic Fangio in what he's doing. Look what he turned Zach Bond into. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. He doesn't play favorites. He has no favoritism on veterans. You earn your snaps through practice. Like, he got no favorites towards nobody. Not like Jim Schwartz with Derek Barnett and Nate Gary. Never happened. This guy plays it fair, plays it straight with you, and one of the most, like, non-professional coaches that I've ever seen. And I absolutely love that. Okay, you have to trust in Howie Roseman, to the process of drafting, to why he's doing specific things, okay? And you have a lot of contracts you're going to have to pay down the road. Like, you have to sign your next core of guys the next few years. Jalen Carter, you have Reed Blanchard, a free agent. Cam Jurgens is going to get paid. Nolan Smith. I mean, the list goes on and on. Okay, you can't sign Mill and Josh Sweat and all these guys. Like, you need turnover. You need guys to win a Super Bowl, be satisfied, go to another team, get their money, and let them do their thing. Okay, Josh Sweat wants to play with Jonathan Gannon again. Why? I don't know, but do I care? No. Milton Williams, he got paid top money. Patriots, most top money player, guaranteed money that a Patriots organization has ever given a player, and he got the number one salary in history for the Patriots. Do I care? No. But good for him. Good for him. He earned it. He deserved it as the third-round pick. He deserves it. So the Eagles have to go in this draft and be a lot better here. So you have to understand what he's doing, okay? He says, we've been very fortunate to be aggressive in keeping our guys and signing guys in free agency. It's also got to align with the draft and having young players. Certainly that's the important thing to do, is draft well and keep your players. And so we got to make sure that going forward, we have an opportunity to do that as well. A lot of those players that we're talking about are good young players that are excited about. And so we had to make some tough decisions here. And there's always going to be tough decisions. There's always going to be a player that we don't want to leave. And it's already happened once. At least in my book, it only happened once this year. Okay, which was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Honestly, guys, all the other moves I've been fine with. That Chauncey Gardner-Johnson move was just a move that was like, why? But there's a reason behind all of it. Okay, youth turnover. Eagle fans are not used to the Eagles organization hitting on 2 to 3 draft picks this much the last few years, especially high productive players like we have been getting. That should motivate you to say, yeah, let's keep doing this process. This is the way it's got to go here. Now, there was something else in this interview as well where Howie was like, things may not seem what they are, or something like that. I'm missing another few lines, but he said something about certain situations or certain positions or certain things that happen don't seem how, what they are. So, like I said, they could draft a safety this year. They could go with defensive line. We've talked about it a million times. We know where the glaring hole is at. Two positions so far. If Goedert isn't leaving, if Goedert does leave, we'll see what happens. But I totally get that. And, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, what is he, 27, 28? I mean, realistically, the Eagles just felt different and wanted to move on. And, Fangio might have some pull now, too. You know what I mean? I don't think Fangio, was not a fan of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but Howie wanted to bring Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back. This has been in the books for I don't know how long. You don't think that Howie Roseman had this planned out since literally last offseason or throughout the year that he was going to trade Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? Of course this was in the books. This was something that he was going to do. This is before the combine. This is before the Super Bowl. That he's not, you don't think he's doing the math, during the season and figuring out specific things while the coaches are coaching the guys up, get ready to play next week. Howie Roseman's always supporting this team. We all know that. But I'm so excited when we get into games like, oh, is Cooper DeJean going to have an interception this game? Oh, I can't wait to see what Quinyon Mitchell does. It makes you more excited to see what these young players do. They take the next step. Do they take the next step every single game until you're like, wow, look at this. And then you're just like, I want to keep drafting guys like this. I love this. And when you keep drafting multiple guys in 1 year, sure, those guys have to get paid, but the longevity of having them on longer deals because you hit on this guy, 4 years, 4 years, 5th-year option, whatever, it's first, second round, whatever it is. Let me tell you something. The Eagles are starting to hit on 2-3 guys in every draft, especially 3 guys in every draft, almost, okay? That's great, okay? Your first-round picks start. Your second-round pick should be starting. Your third, fourth rounders are role players. Your 5, 6, 7s are mostly hit or misses, with hoping that a gem is going to fall out of that. You know what I mean? And I think they've been doing a good job with that. So I was mad about the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade when it happened for like a few days. And I said, there's got to be a reason behind it. It wasn't to get Kenyon Green, the former first-round pick guard. There's more to it than that. And I think we have to give it a chance. So I know I ranted a lot during this segment, but I do appreciate it. Everybody joining up. So that was the talks on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And I think we need to trust the process of what they're doing, and see what they do in this draft. We could be surprised even more. And trust me, even after the draft, moves are going to get made. So just give it a chance. Just give it a chance here. Okay. Now, we finally have news on, this is great news. More news on some rules, especially uniforms, okay? Now teams can wear their throwbacks or alternate jerseys, uniforms, okay, 4 times a year. That's absolutely fantastic. So the Eagles can wear Kelly Green 4 times a year. The Eagles can wear their black on blacks and then wear Kelly Green 3 times. I like the white jerseys with the black pants. I mean, it's not horrible, but I'm kind of like done with it. Kelly Green 4 times a year. That's what I want. And hopefully that's what everybody's going to want. So I think this has been passed already, which is great. So more Kelly Green, and every time the Eagles playing Kelly Green, the most explosive plays happen. The most crazy plays happen at those games. And we saw the Saquon Barkley, obviously the big Saquon Barkley backwards hurdle, which was great. So that was one rule that we definitely seen. That's going to be very, very interesting. Okay. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. We talked obviously about Howie Roseman, his plan, and what he's doing with Dallas Goedert, ? Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade. Got to trust the process with these coaches. And there's reasons behind it when it comes to money, when it comes to having, you don't want to, how do you keep the longevity? How do you keep a constant, consistent type of, every year, proving yourself every year as a team? How do you compete for a Super Bowl every single year when your roster has to completely get, annihilated sometimes? You're going to have to lose guys, but, he wants to lose 2 to 3 guys. He wants to lose 3 or 4 guys maybe. You don't want to lose that many guys after 1 year, okay? The Eagles didn't lose that much, but, you still don't, you still got to get better with the contracts, and you still have to be drafting well every single year. The more you draft well, the more you're not going to run into these big problems, especially on the financial side of things. And I think that's been really good. So I totally respect what Howie is doing. I get it. There might be a move that we didn't like, but I get the reason behind it. I get the money that's being freed up behind it as well, and I think it's going to be, it's going to be really interesting. And if you guys haven't checked out the Philly Shakedown podcast merch, definitely go check it out. The Jalen Hurts merch, we have new stuff coming really soon. We have the champion shirt, high sprung polyester. You're going to absolutely love it. Definitely check it out. The main thing T-shirt is absolutely fantastic. Comes in T-shirt, hoodies, all of that, and everything we came out this past 2024 season. We got a lot of stuff out. Definitely check out the store. Very good quality. You get what you pay for. Trust me. And anybody that's bought some stuff, do appreciate all of it. And other than that, that's pretty much it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Check us out, follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.